The unwavering pursuit of wisdom follows the less traveled path, yet proves to be the most rewarding in our lives. Some aspects are akin to seeds. We plant them in silence, away from prying eyes, allowing them to grow and flourish without external interference. This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. It instructs us to guard and cultivate within ourselves without the rush to showcase it to the world. Stoic philosophers, eminent thinkers of history, understood the importance of discretion. They esteemed their secrets, achievements, and lessons, recognizing that by revealing too much of the true essence of things, it might be lost. Every joy, sadness, lesson, and challenge are fragments of the story we compose. If we share everything without thoughtful consideration, we risk ceasing to live deeply. Similar to a flower that doesn't thrive when constantly touched, our growth also requires privacy, a space of our own where we reflect on our mistakes and victories, deciding how to move forward in the best way. So, when we choose not to share something, it's not to conceal, but to protect. True growth emanates from the equilibrium between what we reveal and what we keep exclusively for ourselves. In a world fond of displaying everything, it can sometimes be challenging to recognize and appreciate what lies behind our accomplishments. Similar to a flower that doesn't thrive when constantly touched, our growth also requires privacy, a space of our own where we reflect on our mistakes and victories, deciding how to. In this discourse, we will delve into 11 subjects that we recommend keeping to yourself. All of them hold significance, so stay engaged until the end to understand why. First, refrain from discussing your achievements. Envision diving into the dark and profound waters of your own soul. For the Stoics, the pursuit of wisdom and virtue mirrored this profound journey. They believed genuine fulfillment lay not in displaying external triumphs, but in introspection and continuous evolution. Every challenge, every struggle was waged not in public arenas, but in the silent landscapes of the spirit. By discussing their victories, they offered us profound reflection. Ego and vanity, when nurtured, can become barriers standing between us and true virtue. Their aversion to external recognition warned that it ties us to chains of pride, trapping us in the empty pursuit of fleeting applause, a path filled with disappointment. For these ancient sages, wealth wasn't accumulated in vaults, but in the depths of a balanced and serene soul, instead of celebrating triumphs or succumbing to defeat. Third, avoid discussing your good deeds. Imagine a candle silently lighting up a dark room, gentle, unobtrusive, yet warming and illuminating. Kindness, for the Stoics, mirrored this flame. They believed that true generosity did not require proclamation in public squares or shouts from mountaintops. In its essence, it should be a genuine and subtle gesture, stemming from the simple desire to do good without expecting praise in return. This perspective might seem strange in today's self-promotion culture, but the Stoics recognized the danger of turning kindness into a spectacle. Bragging about every altruistic act might inadvertently lead us to seek the fleeting warmth of applause. Keeping our good deeds in the cloak of anonymity provides a sacred moment for reflection, a moment of intimate connection with ourselves where we question the genuineness of our actions. This secret self-analysis becomes a catalyst for personal improvement. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lay the belief that true kindness does not seek the spotlight. It manifests in acts of compassion, quiet, and authentic. Fourth, refrain from discussing your resentment. Have you ever felt ensnared in a web of emotions, each thread a bitter memory, a grudge that refuses to fade? Stoic wisdom invites us to reflect on the invisible weight of resentment. Harboring resentment, according to these ancient philosophers, is akin to an anchor, preventing the spirit from sailing freely through the seasons of life. Resentment becomes an invisible chain binding and limiting our freedom and inner peace. Often springing from misunderstandings, resentment imprisons us in a cycle of bitterness. Stoics encourage us to seek the origins of others' actions, to understand before we judge, Forgiveness, then, is not merely an altruistic gesture, but an act of profound wisdom, unraveling the mysteries of the human soul and freeing us from the chains of negativity. Anger and resentment are poisonous flames that, when fueled, consume our tranquility and well-being. In contrast, choosing the path of forgiveness and understanding leads to an oasis of serenity and peace. Guided by Stoic wisdom, we find that forgiveness is the key to our own freedom, a beacon guiding us through emotional storms, offering refuge in the harbor of serenity. Fifth, keep your deepest dreams to yourself. Envision for a moment a rare and delicate seed in the palm of your hand, an embodiment of your most intimate dreams. Stoic philosophy advises against openly discussing these aspirations. Just as a precious seed requires protection and nurturing in the soil before it can grow into a thriving plant, your deepest dreams demand a similar care and privacy. Sharing them indiscriminately may expose them to external influences that could hinder their growth. Stoics understood the power of guarding one's dreams, allowing them to germinate and develop in the fertile soil of one's soul. By maintaining silence about your deepest aspirations, you create a space for them to flourish authentically, away from the potential interference of external judgments or opinions. This discreet cultivation aligns with the Stoic principle of inner resilience and self-sufficiency, a reminder that the true essence of your dreams lies in their quiet evolution within the sanctuary of your own being. The Stoics, with their profound wisdom, offer a response on how to protect one's most fervent aspirations from the harsh winds and storms that could hinder their sprouting. They view our goals and dreams as precious seeds meant to be planted deep within the fertile depths of our souls, far from the storms of others' opinions and criticisms. The Stoic philosophy champions self-sufficiency as an invaluable gem. True wisdom and accomplishment, according to them, are not vessels to be displayed, but internal wells from which one can always draw. Seeking fleeting external approval is deemed senseless when richness and purpose can be found within the recesses of our own minds. The Stoics recognize the subtlety of the line that separates healthy ambition from arrogance. Choosing silence about our grand goals is not an act of shyness, but a deliberate choice to walk with humility, avoiding the pride that can blind. Ultimately, the Stoic legacy speaks to the heart. There's no need to shout our dreams from mountaintops. Instead, protecting and cultivating them in their silent and majestic glory becomes an invitation to rediscover the strength within us and recognize that the most precious treasures are often those we keep just for ourselves. Sixth, don't talk about your next steps. The Stoics follow a path akin to a chess master moving pieces silently, understanding that revealing every move in life could subject them to the whimsical winds of external judgment, often laden with criticism, envy, and malicious intentions. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies the virtue of self-sufficiency. Why depend on the fleeting applause of an audience when true strength resides in the inner theater of the mind? By keeping life strategies to themselves, the Stoics strengthen their inner core of confidence, independent of the tides of opinion that flow around them. This leads to humility, a subtle yet profound quality the Stoics fervently uphold. Revealing grand strategies could easily be misinterpreted as a cry of arrogance, a triumphant announcement of superiority. By choosing discretion, they strike a balance between ambition and humility, ensuring that their steps are steady, but not presumptuous. The Stoic tradition presents a rich perspective on the value of secrecy, teaching us that protecting our goals fortifies our being, honors our self-sufficiency, and allows us to walk with humility in a world where external validation seems to be the currency. Seventh, don't talk about your doubts and uncertainties. The Stoics encourage silent introspection in the face of doubts, envisioning a vast forest where each tree represents a doubt and each shadow an uncertainty. Rather than shouting hesitation to the world, they choose a silent introspection, seeking answers within their own souls. Stoic philosophy recognizes that confidence isn't a flag to be waved in front of the world, but an inner beacon that guides. Constantly revealing doubts to the world is like exposing a lighthouse to a torrential rain it can silently extinguish. Stoics find the solidity needed not to be swayed by the opinions and judgments of others. Modesty, in turn, is not just an external virtue, but a shield that protects the spirit. Always choose when and with whom to share vulnerabilities, understanding the importance of silence and introspection. Stoic wisdom whispers advice amidst the storms of doubt. There's no need to shout uncertainties to the world. Embracing silence, modesty, and introspection provides a safe route through the forest of uncertainties, guided by the internal beacon of confidence and understanding. Eighth, don't talk about others. The Stoics understood that criticizing others is like throwing stones into a calm lake, creating ripples that disturb the serenity of the water. They recognized that engaging in judgments and criticisms diverts energy from their own internal mirror and wastes it on matters beyond their sphere of influence. Instead of pointing fingers, the Stoics chose to extend a hand, guiding themselves with empathy and compassion. They acknowledged that every person is a universe filled with internal and external battles, joys and sorrows, victories and defeats. Criticizing another person, to them, would be a failure to acknowledge the richness and complexity of the human condition. They also realized that criticism, instead of building bridges, often erected walls, leading to discord and separation. Stoic wisdom sends a clear and timeless message: be guardians of words and thoughts, turning the gaze to one's own reflection for growth and virtue. In a world where criticism is easily launched, Stoic teachings inspire understanding, acceptance, and kindness, casting stones of empathy into the lake of humanity and appreciating the interconnectedness of all. The waves of positivity they generate. 9. Don't talk about your moments of solitude. While many seek to fill every second with stimuli and interactions, the Stoics found strength in quietude. They didn't view solitude as a void to be filled, but as a sanctuary where the mind could dance freely, free from the shackles of others' opinions. Contrary to what many may think, the Stoics did not shun solitude. They embraced it. In their moments of retreat, they didn't feel isolated, but connected to a rich inner universe, filled with insights. It was in this stillness that the deepest thoughts arose, unpolluted by external noise. In the current landscape where validation through social media has become a priority for many, Stoic philosophy invites us to reevaluate these priorities. By moving away from the constant need for exposure, we find a space where our soul can breathe. It is in this deep silence that we discover the melody of our essence, a sound that doesn't need to be shared, but only felt in its purity and truth. 10. Don't talk about unlearned lessons. Few things are as universal as mistakes. We all fail, we all make errors. But it's in the response to these failures that a person's character is truly revealed. For the Stoics, these moments were not ones of despair, but of revelation and growth. Many of us in our contemporary society feel pressure to project an image of perfection. We showcase our triumphs and hide our defeats. But the Stoics show us a different approach. Embrace mistakes, not as a sign of weakness, but as a map for self-development. By choosing to keep your unlearned lessons private, the Stoics were not trying to evade their responsibilities or hide from their failures. Instead, they sheltered themselves for a deep and intimate process of reflection. Each failure was seen not as an end, but as a beginning, a new chapter in the ongoing quest for virtue and wisdom. Just as an artist turns a mistake into a crucial part of their work, the Stoics turned their failures into foundations for growth. In a world where oversharing and overexposure are common, the Stoic stance reminds us of the value of introspection and the dignity of silence. 11. Don't talk about your deepest plans. The understanding that there's no need to shout your plans to the world is a powerful weapon. The Stoics understood something that many of us forget, that discretion is not a weakness, but a strength. For them, every plan or goal was like a delicate seed that needed to be nurtured with care and protection. By avoiding the premature exposure of these plans, they ensured that they had the ideal environment to grow and flourish. Away from the storms of doubt, envy, or public scrutiny. Today, in an age of overexposure where every move is documented and shared, Stoic philosophy invites us to rethink how we handle our ambitions. It shows us that true power often resides in what is kept secret, not because we are evasive, but because we recognize the importance of nurturing our dreams in a safe environment. Silence for the Stoics was not empty. It was full of potential possibilities and hope. It was the fertile ground where their dreams could grow undisturbed. So amidst the chaos of our modern era, perhaps we can find inspiration in these ancient sages. By protecting our deepest plans, we allow them to develop at their own pace, free from interference. And by doing so, we may discover the true magic, not in what we declare to the world, but in what we quietly achieve in the recesses of our determination. Thank you for watching. Your support is essential for us to continue sharing knowledge and inspiration with everyone. If you have any content suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments. We value your input, and it guides us in our mission to bring you increasingly rich and impactful content. Here's a video discussing anti-Stoic habits that should be removed from your life. Watch it and let me know what you think.